OpenAI turning up the heat.
The smartest coding model we've ever tried.
It's much better for businesses and enterprises.
Latest new model, GPT-5.
GPT-5.
Today.
And honestly, it is incredible. GPT-5 just launched and people are calling it the most intelligent AI ever. I mean, I'm a heavy Claude Code user. I use Claude by Anthropic, but I have already shifted some of my workflows to GPT because of this flagship GPT-5 model, and people are calling it the most intelligent GPT yet, with so many of them claiming that at this point, GPT-5 is actually more intelligent and smarter than most people in this entire world. But here is what I realized after testing it extensively since the last 2 weeks. Everybody is making the same fundamental mistake about what intelligence actually means. All these AI influencers make AI seem more smarter and better than it actually is. I have studied robotics and AI for my masters, and now I work as a software engineer. I know when somebody is bluffing and they are just, going bonkers about AI without any proof or reasoning, and when somebody is not. And saying that GPT is gonna take over your job is propagating this doom mentality. That is not true for all people. And that is why I wanted to make this video. I'm gonna show you guys the reality. So by the end of it, you will not only stop fearing these new AI models, but also know how to navigate your career in this challenging landscape. Because the way you think about intelligence right now, that is about to cost you everything. Let's get started. So let me tell you what I mean. GPT-5 is absolutely insane. It has now got 200,000 tokens context window as opposed to some 128 previously in GPT-4, which is twice as much, and therefore this is twice as fast. If you give it a query, even the thinking model, it is blazing fast. I've seen it build full stack applications, front end it does in minutes. And all of that goes on to show how extensively it has been trained. Now I'm not gonna go over any demo because you can see all of them online. The internet is literally plastered with GPT demos, so you can search them yourselves, but I am here to talk about something different. Because when this model came out, everybody was like, oh god, this is so intelligent, it is smarter than me, it is smarter than most people, we don't need our jobs now, the future is doomed. And on the other hand, the people running the tech industry, these big CEOs, they were also shouting the same thing. Matt Garman, the CEO of AWS, I think he said sometime in June that if you go forward 24 months or 36 months from now, software engineers will not even be coding. Even Mark Zuckerberg has talked about this when he came over the Joe Rogan podcast. I made a video on that where he said that by the end of this year, even work pertaining to mid-level engineer roles will be done by AI. And even Sundar Pichai, about which I made my last video on, said that Google uses approximately 30% of its code which is written by AI. And even Peter Schwartz at Salesforce said that, in times to come, coding might not be the most valuable skill in programming and software engineering, especially in this age of AI. And all of this causes a sense of fear among us, right? The doom ending of our jobs and humanity and all that stuff. It is justified to feel that way. But then it hit me. Literally everybody, and including me initially, is making the same fundamental mistake while evaluating what true intelligence actually is. Here is what nobody is talking about. GPT-5 is actually not intelligent. Incredible, it is an absolute beast, but it is not intelligent. It is what I call the ultimate skill master. You know what skill mastering is, right? It is when you get really, really good at something really specific, often through repetition. You practice the same problems, memorize the same solutions, perfect the same techniques. And over time, after repeatedly doing all these things, you become incredibly skilled at that thing. And in this modern world, you get paid for executing those skills day in and day out. But that is not intelligence. Real intelligence is about how fast you can adapt. It is first principles Darwin's theory of evolution. We are alive on this planet because we could change, we could adapt to the new conditions, and hence we are the most intelligent species on planet Earth. Think about it. GPT-5 has seen millions if not billions of problems. Every problem has a pattern. It has been trained to see those patterns again and again, and when you ask some question that has a similar pattern, it spits out the damn answer. But the moment something genuinely new comes up, something that it has never seen before, it gets stuck. And that is why these CEOs are not scared of GPT's capabilities, because they know the difference. They know that GPT-5 is incredible at skill mastering, but it is not really good at actual intelligence. Hence, it is not actually intelligent. It cannot actually adapt to genuine novel situations. It can't think from first principles, although it might look like it is thinking, but it's not. And the main takeaway from this video is, if you don't understand this distinction, if you are still thinking that being good at coding makes you intelligent, good at some skill makes you intelligent, then you are competing with ChatGPT or AI on its strongest turf. You are trying to outmax the ultimate skill master. You are going to lose this battle, which you already are. The job market is already showing signs of what happens when you do that. Software engineering job positions are at an all-time low, not an all-time low I would say, but still they are very low. And this is not a new fact. I have made videos about this. The world is making videos about this. It is a known fact that software engineers are not getting hired as much as they did during the COVID peak. And the surprising but not so surprising part is the CEO saw this coming. So if you don't understand what real intelligence is, then you are gonna be left behind. Because you see, this exact pattern, this has happened before. But the people who saw it coming and adapted to the change were the people who succeeded in times that came. I've been talking to a lot of people in my industry, and whenever something new gets introduced, there is always this sort of panic, right? Oh my god, we don't have jobs anymore because this is already automated and it is already whole wrecking of the world coming apart. But the people who survive and also succeed are the ones who take advantage of the new wave of technology and adapt to it the fastest. Again, Darwin's theory at play. We can see examples of Visual Basic in PHP, although PHP still powers a majority of internet, and all these WordPress sites have their backend in PHP. That's a different topic. But then they were really popular in maybe 2005 and 10s, and then people were learning all about these languages and frameworks and stuff. They were mastering every pattern. They were becoming the language experts. But then came React, and then came Node.js. Python gained popularity as a backend language. Go programming language got introduced, and suddenly the people who did not adapt, they were left behind. They're still doing things the old way and they still have their jobs, that's fine. But the people who adapted, they are earning more. They have more number of jobs to apply for. They are living a better life as opposed to the ones who did not adapt. And this isn't just coding. Remember network engineers? In the 2000s, these guys were managing some physical routers, some hardware and some switches and cables and stuff. They knew every Cisco command. But then came cloud. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, whatever. And all of these technologies got abstracted away. And the people who were too focused on the skill, they died out. But the ones who understood the principles of network engineering, willing to apply those principles to something else, they became the new DevOps engineer and site reliability engineers or solutions architect or whatever. They adapted. They were intelligent. As I said, it's like the Darwin's theory. It is not the survival of the fittest, although it is read as the survival of the fittest, but in actuality, it is the survival of the most adaptable. And hence the most adaptable species is the most intelligent, the ones who can adapt when the environment changes. And right now we can see environment change in real time every single day in this age of AI. And I see two different types of people emerge from these times: the copers and the adapters. The copers are saying things like, AI can't replace real engineers, we are practicing the hard skills, and then this AI comes and it can't replace us. They're like, I'm a Python developer, or I'm just this guy or that guy, and they are not being generic enough. And I get it, right? It is scary when you have spent years mastering something and then somebody comes and says that it's gonna be worthless and it is not of use anymore. It hurts. And it also is fearful because we think, if this is not of use, what am I gonna do next? But the thing that I have realized is that, and this is gonna sound harsh to some of you people out there, and that is that coping is the exact opposite of intelligence. If you are somebody who's coping and who's very sad and who's trying to make peace with the fact that AI has taken over their jobs and AI is smarter than them, so it's going with the flow, they are the ones who are less intelligent. Because as I mentioned, real intelligence comes from adaptation. The adapters, on the other hand, they're already using tools like GPT, Claude, Gemini. I mean, just using ChatGPT doesn't make the cut. Use agents like Claude Code, and there are some wonderful agents out there. I might not name them in this video. Maybe I can make a separate video on that. But the fact is, these adapters are not trying to protect their old skills, because their old skills, or their new skills for that matter, does not define them. They are defined by their problem solving ability, because they have shifted their identity from I code in this to I solve problems using whatever tool there is available. The data is already showing about 84% of developers are using AI in their coding workflows, but only about 30% of them trust the actual output that the AI is giving. And there's this weird split between using AI but not trusting it. But that's not the point of this video. The point I'm trying to make is that people who are using AI are earning 20 to 30% more than people who are not and are getting more jobs because they know even entry-level positions now require 2 to 3 years of experience because the employers, they want people to, build projects which are 6 months long, 10 months long with the help of AI. So, AI usage is very essential in these times and you have a choice to make. And honestly, this choice is going to determine whether you thrive or become obsolete in the next few years. Here is what I think is gonna happen. AI is the ultimate skill master, right? It has the perfect memory, perfect pattern matching, the perfect everything when it comes to executing the skill. For software engineers, it can write code faster than any software engineer on planet Earth. But AI cannot do what intelligent humans can. It cannot identify problems worth solving. For example, provide business context. I am just giving an example. It can't synthesize ideas across completely different domains, like, taking concepts from one domain and then applying them to the other one. Most importantly, it cannot adapt to genuinely novel situations. So the main question is, how the hell do we develop intelligence in this age of AI? Well, I've been dabbling about this myself. I've been also a believer of hardcore skill maxing only to realize that I cannot beat AI, right? And then there is a framework that I've developed in the last few months and it is called the FLEX Flex Framework. I can talk about it in detail in the next video. Please let me know down in the comments below if you want to know more about it. I always read your comments. Comment FLEX Flex and based on the amount of flexes I get on the video, I can make a follow-up on this one. But basically, it is first principles thinking, meaning being able to break down a problem into its fundamental components. Then comes learning, like after you know what the actual problem is and you know the first principles of it, you need to be able to learn the solution for it. So meta learning or learning how to learn is a super skill in the 21st century because it enables you to acquire new competencies faster. But learning won't get you anywhere, and this is exactly where tutorial trap also falls. Therefore, you need to execute on that learning. Execute with the help of AI on your own, but mostly with the help of AI so that you can build more products. And then finally, expose your work, building your reputation and demonstrating your ability. All these things will make sure that you have a strong personal brand backed by foundational skills where people are willing to pay you for the value that you offer. Believe me, the mindset shift that you need to make right now is, I can code this up. So, I can solve this problem using whatever tool there is. Because the future isn't AI replacing humans. Maybe they will, who knows? But much sooner than that, it is people who know how to use AI versus people who do not know how to use AI. And I've mentioned this in my past videos as well. And a lot of people are mentioning it, but the people who are taking the advice seriously are the ones who are progressing forward. So the developers who are going to thrive are not the ones who know the perfect syntax or they have the most number of projects. They are the ones who can learn things fast and apply those learnings, who understand what good code or what a good implementation of a skill looks like and are able to communicate all these technicalities to humans and to AI. This is a lot to process. Thank you, Sam Altman. And I know it feels overwhelming, but here is the thing, you are still early. So many people are still in the coping camp and you can take advantage of this. These people are still defying what is really happening. So this is your chance. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you're still here and you haven't clicked the like button or the subscribe button, please do that. It always means a lot. Please let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. I always read your comments and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.